Welcome back, my name is Kyoto Combat and we're doing another Tales from Retail. It's been over a year since I've done one of these. Thank you for sticking around with me, and if you're new here, welcome to the channel. Buy back my game, and give me a new one. I've posted before, while I don't work in conventional retail, in the years before COVID, my company frequented game conventions, and we had a booth from which we sold our games. It's pretty hot and heavy, selling for 3 to 4 days, depending on the convention. Anyway, my company is well known for making expensive strategy games, and like many games that undergo reprints, our games get slight upgrades with each print run. We might increase the thickness of the card stock, or change up the faction's ability to make it more interesting, or do a new mold for monsters so its ankles aren't so thin, rendering it sturdier. Now, of course every business that makes products does this. No one expects the 2022 Acura TLX to be identical to the 2021 model. When Butterfingers got new packaging, it was fine. But for some reason, people who buy my games seem to feel that if I ever do a new edition of a game, they deserve it based on the fact that they bought the original. I don't think this happens to other game companies. The most egregious case happened in 2019. An angry game nerd, AGN, came by the booth and said, "Hey, I bought your expensive strategy game in 2013, and you've added new stuff." "Yeah," I said, "that is true." "I need the most up-to-date version." "Oh, great," I say. "We have it on sale right here." "No," he said. "My game is useless now. Give me the new copy. You can have the old one in exchange." He held it up. Let's just say it had seen a lot of use. Don't get me wrong, it was still eminently playable. It was clearly a used item. Note, we do not sell used games. "Didn't you like my game?" "Yeah, it's my favorite." "Well, your game literally is just as fun as ever. The new version doesn't change yours at all." Here it got interesting. I could visibly see the angry game nerd realizing he was unreasonable and trying inside his head to stay angry. His basic problem is that he, like most game nerds, are actually fairly intelligent, so it's harder to maintain the attitude. "So I just got screwed then, is that it?" "Your game is a first edition, a collector's item." The angry game nerd just scowls. Then, because I like to keep my fans happy, I offer to give him the upgraded monster model, the one with the sturdy ankles, for free. Though no, the whole bus didn't applaud, but he did hang around the booth for like 40 minutes, and then bought a $60 game. So I did make my money back on the monster model. So when I initially read this story, I was immediately thinking, and everyone stood up and clapped. Well, yeah, I can see how it could be kind of made up, but I have been around so many nerds that are, well, kind of OCD about making sure everything's perfect, where I could totally see this as being a nerd just wanting to be like, "Hey, let me get that free thing." Because at least a lot of the like college-age kids and stuff, a lot of the people that play those board games, they don't have a lot of money, and so if they're able to get an upgraded item and try to weasel themselves into getting it for free, yeah, I mean, they're gonna do it. How does weather affect data? So I work at a chain of stores that offers discounts on monthly items with our memberships. Sometimes people forget to pull out their memberships when checking out and come to customer service after the fact, complaining about missing out on their deals. The way our system works is that we have to refund the entire transaction, then re-ring it in with the membership for them to get their savings. Recently, like larger retailers, customers have been given the option to hook up their cards with their account so their discounts are applied when the card is inserted to pay and our network recognizes the member. This is already hit and miss for us on a normal day, but the weather across the US at the moment has led this to all kinds of outages for us. A few nights ago, I could see a customer starting to get upset at one of the registers. Like clockwork, they were at customer service counter within moments. When this lady arrived, she explains to me that normally her membership is pulled up with her debit card, but today it didn't look like she had received her savings. After pulling up her receipt, she was in fact right, and I apologized to her about the issue. I proceed to explain how I have to refund everything in their order and re-ring it for her to get her discount, and apologized for the inconvenience. Upset and starting to get angry, she asked me how much she would have saved. After some calculations, I find she would have saved less than $50. This is normally the point where they just say forget it and leave. Oh, not here though. Okay, go ahead. I'm not taking the items out of my bag though. That's ridiculous. I explained to her again that to get her discount, I have to re-ring every item, and to do so, we will need to scan and weigh all of her purchases. You have my receipt. Why do you need my items? Isn't there a list of all of them there? Somewhere in the midst of all this, she changes her focus from the return and re-ringing her purchases to berating us about her card not working. I come in here all the time and this works every time. Someone needs to say something about that cashier because she didn't apply my discounts. I explained it to her that it's an automated process and it's out of the hands of the cashier. Well then, explain to me why I'm having to go through all this mess then. Shouldn't you care about your customers? At this point, I tried to explain to her that with the weather that had been recently hit some areas across the US, we have been experiencing network outages all across the board. This has been affecting everything from our emails to our payment processing, time clocks, all the way to our discounts. No, that can't be the reason. I still have internet at my house. If I have the internet, then it should work. I politely explained to her that we've heard from higher ups that some of our servers are based in Texas, and that the weather caused some of them to lose power. More importantly, the service having to do with our discounts have been going on and offline. So you mean to tell me I didn't get my discount because of snow? Wow, that's an excuse I've never heard before. At this point, I noticed that another customer was walking up. Little did I know it was her husband. I can see them begin to whisper to each other. So you're telling me you've wasted my wife and my time because of the weather? Please explain to me how snow makes the internet work. It's not like the internet has to physically move anywhere. Quit making up excuses and give us our money. She chimes back in. Look, at this point, either give me my money you owe me in cash or refund me, and I'm keeping the groceries. I'm tired of this. By now, I'm so tired of having two grown adults berate me because they don't understand any basics of servers or how the internet works. So I bit the bullet and ended up making him a gift card and apologizing to him. Thankfully, this shut them up long enough they decided to leave. Funny part is, this even wasn't the worst thing to happen that night. So this person had to stand on that fine line of explaining what's going on to a customer in a technical point of view and talking down to a customer. Well, it's not a similar problem, but I had to do something kind of like that when I worked in the photo department at a local drugstore. And this is the time when digital cameras first came out, and the average digital camera that people had were like 3 megapixel cameras, and people were using their cell phone cameras. They're like 1 megapixel cell phone cameras to take like wedding photos and stuff, or funeral photos or graduation photos or whatever. And then they would come in, plug in their cell phone or the memory card, the little SD card or micro SD card, into our computer, into our kiosk, and it would look great on the screen. But when you printed them out, it got pixelated. So after they got printed out, I had to be the one to explain to them, oh yeah, you know those wedding photos that you had? Guess what? Your camera sucks. And I had to explain to them what a megapixel was and about how it stretches the photo out and stuff. Man, it was such a tough thing to do to like not make it sound like that I'm talking down to them, and talking to them to try to make them understand that, hey, this is what happened. Not everyone understood, not everyone agreed. People thought that we screwed up their photos, but like, what can you do? We sold stuff that is old. To set the scene, it's 9 a.m. on this lovely Wednesday morning, and I'm working at customer service desk. I am me, and woman is W. Comes to the counter with a bag. Hey, good morning. Oh, I see you have a return. This pudding is dated from 2019. Oh, no, let me take care of that. Begin scanning the pudding for a refund as it's dripping disgusting liquid all over and I'm trying to keep it in the bag. I didn't know you sold stuff so old. Well, obviously it was a mistake that was on the shelf. I just didn't know why you'd have something so old out for sale. I ignored her and finished her return with a smile and have a great day. A few minutes later, she wanted me help with the register, and all that was open was the self-checkout. So, of course, I hop on a register like a good little retail slave. She had some markdown items, and they weren't scanning, so I began typing in the UPC. And she said, It might work if you try the hand scanner. Yeah, thanks for letting me know how to do my job. I'll type in every item by hand now. I did love that little malicious compliance there at the end. Mwah. Beautiful. But going back to selling some old items, the last time I worked at a grocery store last time I was in retail, and I was an overnight stalker. And we would come in, we would straighten out the shelves, put things away. But when we were straightening out our shelves, we would, check dates on everything. And when we were putting items away, we would rotate stock. It was actually, since we had a night crew and we actually were able to, be dedicated stock, we actually pulled a lot of items off the shelf. But when I worked at a drugstore, when I worked in the photo department at the drugstore, we downsized a lot. So the photo department would be doing like double shifts sometimes on the front register and photo. And then also they would give us projects to do, and we'd also have to put stock away. So like checking dates and stuff. Yeah. You just kind of prayed that, well, I don't know, it's a canned item, so it's probably got a year maybe. Yeah, it was bad. Thank you again for joining me on a Tales from Retail. So yeah, I finally got my recording audio to go pretty spiffy, keen, boss uptight, out of sight. Anyway, so my room is a lot more echoey than I have been recording before, so I started putting like these egg crate things on the wall, but it wasn't doing anything. So I decided, hey, I gotta buy one of these audio capture boxes. So that, I could capture the sound without the echo. But then I just realized I could just put a blanket over my head. So if someone walks in my room, they're going to be like, oh, there's a spooky ghost recording audio by the computer. But no, it's just me with a blanket over my head. But hey, the sound comes out pretty good. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you like this, give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, share it with a friend. I do have a secondary channel, a gaming channel, of course, because every YouTuber has a gaming channel. I'll put the link in the description below. And until the next time, later, kids.